Oh, well, surprise. It's going to be a little more complicated than I thought.
Maximalist Minibus with Mary and Captain and you. Get on the bus!
Today I'm headed to the California DMV to register Max, my bus, as a California vehicle. Right now I'm registered in Massachusetts, and I don't get to Massachusetts very often. I spend a lot more time on the West Coast these days. So it seems crazy to be still using that address and still registering there. Some of you might be surprised that I'm choosing California, considering the video that I made, which I'll link up here, about the new diesel regulations in the state, but they don't really apply to Max. The new regulations begin at vehicles that are 14,000 pounds, and Max is only 10,000 pound GWR, which, if you don't know what that means, it's the GVWR, right? GV, gross vehicle weight rating. Basically, it says how much weight the vehicle can carry, you know, how much total weight the vehicle should be, and that includes the vehicle itself and whatever you got inside. The last time I had Max weighed, Max came in underweight by about 1,000 pounds, which is great. That's about, I wouldn't really want to go a whole lot more than that, because obviously the weight distribution is very different using the bus as a home than it would have been using the bus as a transport for kitties. So kiddos, not kitties, because that sounds like cats. I guess you could use it as a transport for cats. Why not? I've made the decision to register it in California for a couple reasons. One is I checked it out, and it's not any more expensive really to do it here. In fact, it's my insurance is going to be less here, considerably less than in Massachusetts. I think I have some overdue Massachusetts fees. I'm being billed for excise tax for an address that I don't live at, and where the bus isn't even posted, isn't even staying there, but it's my own fault because I didn't change that address. So now there's no way to backtrack it. So I owe this excise tax, and because I wasn't there to receive the bill, of course, the excise tax has gone up and up and up. So now there's fees on top of it and all this other stuff. So to register in Massachusetts would cost me a bit because of the extra fees. Now, I've heard that the states don't really communicate with each other about stuff like that, and that California won't care that I haven't paid my Massachusetts excise tax, but I guess we'll find out. We'll see how much this registration would actually cost. If it's in a reasonable range, I'll just go ahead and pull the trigger and do it today. Max will become a California citizen. One thing that's great is that Max doesn't have to pass smog, which honestly he would pass anyway, because the smog test for older vehicles like this, older diesel vehicles, is just that they look at the smoke coming out of the tailpipe to see what color it is, and that's how they determine if it's passing. But I don't even have to do that because of the age of Max. He doesn't have to pass any kind of smog test. California doesn't have safety check, which I find kind of weird. A lot of states don't. You don't have to check the lights or, you know, the brakes or anything. Other tasks that I'm going to do before I hit the road is an oil change. I'm going to go to Valvoline. I pretty much always go to Valvoline if I'm near one. My last oil change Steve did for me out in the desert. Thanks, Steve. But yeah, Steve's not coming to QUARTZSITE until January at least. So I don't want to wait till then to change my oil. So I'll be going to Valvoline. And I've also got to get the brakes checked out. Visually looking at them, they seem to be fine, but they're not working great. And I need my brakes to really work. I think everybody does. So I'm going to have the vacuum checked to see. What's that guy? Oh, he's honking at the other lane. I'm going to have the vacuum checked to make sure that there's not a problem with my brake booster vacuum. And I'm going to have the lines bled to make sure there's no air in the lines. But there's something that's preventing me from stopping as well as I would like to, and I need to figure that out. So that's another mission. And then, you know, a few little things here and there. There's some stuff I'd like to do. Cleaning up the bus interior, fixing little things, but honestly, those things are not urgent. They can wait until I'm in QUARTZSITE. In fact, they might be easier to do in QUARTZSITE, where I have a little more room to spread out. But yeah, and I have to get a gift for my physical therapist. What do you give a physical therapist? I just wanted to give her like a little thank you gift for helping me after my surgery. I don't know.
So we're at the DMV. I drove to this one in San Pedro because the line is always way shorter here than it is at the one in Torrance, which is near where I normally am.
Now search. 5, 9, and number 10.
Ah, well, surprise. It's going to be a little more complicated than I thought. I guess the vehicle has to be verified. I don't remember doing this when I came with my old van from Massachusetts to California, but that was a minivan, which is considered a passenger vehicle. Max is a lot bigger, and so any full-size van in California, it has to be titled and registered as a commercial vehicle. Maybe that's why it has to be verified. And I know I could change that if I converted to a motorhome, but I'm not sure I'd pass all the state requirements to do that anyway. And I really don't want to convert to a motorhome at the moment because, you know, I have insurance for a van and I'm happy with the insurance, and it's just a can of worms that I don't want to open right now. So we're just going to stick with the van designation and get verified. That's the plan anyway. So getting verified was interesting because first the woman told me that there was no federal certification sticker, and I was like, are you sure? Because this bus was registered in California before. Max was a California school bus for at least 20 years, so there's no way there's not a DOT sticker. And then she looked at me and she was like, oh yeah, it is here. She was very apologetic though, and she really liked Ryder, so she's off the hook. So apparently the verifier put that it's a gas vehicle, which means it needs to get smugged, but it's not a gas vehicle, so they said, well, she put what she saw, and she saw gas. It's like, well, she can see gas all she wants, but it's diesel. Well, I should have known this was not going to be that. I wasn't going to get off that cheap in California. So here, they charge you for the weight of the vehicle, plus a registration fee, and it has to be a commercial vehicle. And I remember this from even when I had a pickup truck here. It had to be commercial. You can't have a pickup truck for as long as it's got any kind of a payload. It's not for private use. So the weight alone, at I estimated 9,000 pounds, and I have to get it weighed to verify that. But the weight alone was $378, and the registration fee was $300, so $678 was the total that they came up with. So I'm reconsidering. It seemed like the path of least resistance to do California. The problem too, though, is that Massachusetts requires inspection, and I don't know when I'm going to be in Massachusetts again, so Massachusetts might not even be on the table. The other option is Arizona. Whether I can register in Arizona without having a Arizona driver's license is going to be tricky because my health insurance is here in California. Yeah, $678, and that's just to start with. Like, if I weigh it and it weighs, I estimated 9,000 pounds. Let's say it weighs 10,000 pounds. Then I've got extra fees for that extra 1,000 pounds. So I don't think this is going to be the way to go.
Thank you for calling the Arizona Department of Transportation Motor Vehicle Division Customer Service Center. To continue in English, press 1.
So I just got off the phone with the Arizona DMV. And if the information I got on the phone is correct, it will cost me about $65 to register this thing for 5 years. So I'm not going to do this California registration. No. The insurance cost is about the same from one state to the other, but yeah, there's quite a difference. It's because they're charging for the weight, number one, and also because it has to be commercial if it's in California. So that means that I have to be really careful driving to QUARTZSITE because I'm going to be driving basically on an expired registration until I get there, which sucks, but I mean, I can't justify spending this kind of money. She said you don't need a driver's license, you just need the title and the old registration. And if that's the case, then I'm all set. If not, then even if I had to change my driver's license temporarily to Arizona and then change back to California, then that's what I would do. Because that's worth it to save $600. So now I just have to go get, I don't know, flowers or whatever for the physical therapist. And then on Saturday, I will finally be leaving for QUARTZSITE. It's going to be interesting driving, basically, unregistered. Interesting, that's one word for it. Hopefully there's not going to be a QUARTZSITE curse this year. You guys remember that? If you don't, check this out.